Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on my channel, another Bookmas video. And in today's video we are actually going over all of the books, all 26 of the books that I want to accomplish in the year 2026. 2026 is right around the corner and I am so excited about all of these reads. These are all for my physical TBR. There's none of them that I have to go buy, and next year one of my biggest goals again is to tackle my physical TBR. I do not think I'm gonna hit my goal because in order to keep one of my free book coupons or like promo codes that I had from Thrift Books, I had to order, and I ordered 3 different books. So in total, because of my birthday, I've also probably ordered, I think from there, 4 different books in general. So I don't think I'm gonna hit my goal. However, we are very close to my goal. I think if I would not have bought those, I would have hit my goal at the end of the year, as long as I can tackle the 10 books that I do want to finish this year. Looking at all these books, I am so excited about all of them. Like I said, they're all for my physical TBR, and some of them are to complete a series or to continue next in a series. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Now, technically, this isn't in any specific order. I did have all 26 books. I wrote them down on a piece of paper, and then I used a random number generator to determine what order they should go in. So this is going to be so much fun. I love doing it this way. It's a little surprise basically every time that I get to hold up a book. We are going to start off, however, with the first book on this list. Is one that I'm not necessarily looking too much forward to, but it is one that completes a series, so I am excited about that. It is the third and final book in the Infernal Devices. This is Clockwork Princess. It's not that I don't like the series. I think the first book I rated 4 stars. The second book was like 3.5. I just don't think I'm very invested into her world, her characters, her writing, or this is like the worst series and I started with the worst series, and maybe there's other series that get much better. I'm not 100% positive, so maybe you guys should let me know in the comments, because I don't think anybody has told me if this is the worst series or not. I'm kind of holding on to that hope that maybe it is, and I just picked it up because I had it. There's a part of me that wants to absolutely love this world and love Cassandra Clare, and I just want to finish all these books, but then the other part of me is like, why do I keep putting myself through these if I don't really enjoy them as much as I feel like I should? And I feel like I'm making myself enjoy them. Like I'm forcing myself to try and enjoy them so I can rate them higher and be like everybody else, which is not good to be. But I do have this book and I am so excited to actually tackle it and finish it and potentially walk away from her and her world and her series forever, or to at least maybe try, and if I go to the library, tackle maybe like the Mortal Instruments, just another series from her. And if I don't like it, I don't have to buy it. That's a funny concept. You don't have to buy books. You can go and find them and listen to them on audiobook or go to the library. You don't have to buy them in order to figure out if you want to read them or not. So we're starting off strong with number 1. This is probably the only book on this whole list that I have a little bit of I don't want to read it or I don't want to tackle it, but I'm gonna force myself to tackle it. All the rest of them I feel like I'm pretty excited about, if not extremely excited about. Number 2 on this list is actually none other than 5 Broken Blades. I just picked this up. It has been kind of on my TBR, but not like physical TBR, but just a book that I wanted to read for many years now, and I happened to see it at a bargain bin. I think originally it was $5, but I think I paid like $3.30 or $3.50. It was like 30 or 35% off, and I am so excited about this. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a multi-book series, not a trilogy. Nonetheless, I'm excited to see what the old hype was about this book and to see if I absolutely love it. Coming in at number 3, we do have Cinder, and this is not the only book from Marissa Meyer on this list. I'm so sorry. There's 2 different authors, I do believe, that have 2 different books on this list, but I'm reaching. I only have so many books on my physical TBR that I have to choose from, and choosing 26 of them is actually kind of hard, especially when a lot of them are in series. I can't just put a book number 1 and a book number 2 from the same series on this list. I feel like that would be cheating. So we do have this one from the author, and I've had this for a few years, give or take. I'm not exactly sure when I picked them up. However, I do have, I think, Cinder, Crest, and Winter. So I'm just missing one of the actual books, and I think they're more interconnected standalones than they are an actual series. I think each one follows a different character or different people, and I do believe they're retellings. Like this is Cinderella. I think one is like Rapunzel, one's like Snow White, if I'm not mistaken. So this is one of those that I've heard many things about, more so when I was younger, but definitely still this is like a classic series from her, and I loved every other book that I've ever read from her. I've read the Renegades trilogy and also Heartless, so I want to see what this one is potentially about and see if I like it just as much as I loved all her other books. Coming in at number 4 is actually The Road. I just picked this up a couple months ago, if not about a year ago, for a couple bucks at a Goodwill, and I've never read a Cormac McCarthy book, but I've heard a few good things but also bad things about this book after I picked it up. Of course I heard bad things about it, but before I picked it up I heard only good things about this, and I do believe that this is a sci-fi, which is one of my top favorite genres. Fantasy and sci-fi are, I don't know, for some reason the blank cover, the way this cover looks just seems so interesting to me, or it did at least. It still does, and I'm very excited to hop into it and see if I'm going to love it. At number 5, I do have The Paris Apartment. This has been on my TBR for a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, when I read the guest list I did enjoy it, but I just didn't enjoy it that much, so I was kind of a little bit discouraged after I found this book to actually hop into this, because I do believe I found this book after I bought the guest list but before I read it. It's one of those that maybe she's just not an author for me, or or maybe it was just the guest list I didn't like, but I'm gonna love this one. So I do want to try this. This is the only book left from her on my shelf. I only had those two, so I hopefully will enjoy this. And I feel like not many people have talked about this. They talked about the guest list, and then they kind of went into, I think it's called The Hunting Party. It's one that came out just a couple of years ago and was all over Book of the Month. I'm hoping that maybe because this also has been talked about, or at least I haven't seen much about it, maybe I actually enjoy it more than the other ones, and maybe the other ones were just a little hyped for me. Coming in at number 6, we have none other than Emily Henry's Funny Story. I'm always about a year behind on her books. I usually read them a year after they come out. And up next is Funny Story. I've read all the other ones. I enjoyed, out of the top 4 that I have read, People We Meet on Vacation is number 1, and then Happy Place is number 2. Beach Read is 3. Book Lovers is at the very bottom, and I'm hoping that this might be my new number 1, if not really good, really close up there, at least higher than Book Lovers and even Beach Read. So I've heard really great things when it came out, and I've heard a couple people want to reread this because this has been an amazing book. And I do like Emily Henry's books for the most part. I like how they're more story and plot driven than necessarily romance, but I'm also very curious to see if I'm gonna absolutely love this book or not. Sorry about that, my camera battery decided it wanted to die. Moving on, next to the list, again we have Marissa Meyer coming in at book number 7, and this is actually Gilded. This is part of a duology that I have been intrigued about for multiple years. Never got around to it. Decided for my birthday, because I was just not having the best of time trying to find books that I really wanted to read. I seen this and I was like, you know, I've thought about this book for many years. Let me finally pick it up and see if I'm gonna love it, especially because it is just a duology. So if I start a new series, I can quickly finish the series. I haven't heard many things about this, and I love the cover, and I feel like it's one of her lesser known, less appreciated, because you always hear about the Lunar Chronicles, especially here recently. I feel like the Renegades, and more so Heartless. I don't know any other things from her. Those are the 3 that I've always heard, and I think every once in a while I get a few people randomly suggested to me on YouTube who don't have many followers. They're kind of like me, like a small YouTuber, and I'll click onto their videos and then they will have this book in there, and then I hear some things about them, but never from the people who are like big YouTubers. Maybe I missed it when they read it, maybe it was years ago and I just wasn't following them at the time. But I feel like this would be a very interesting book to do a reading vlog over, especially because it is just a duology, so maybe I could do both. But I think I'm gonna absolutely love this. I feel like her books are so good. I don't know if it's her writing, if it's her characters, or just in general her books, my escapism from the world and into her worlds, but I think I'm gonna absolutely enjoy this. Next at number 8, I think I have the book that's been on my TBR and my bookshelves the absolute longest, if you're not counting like Nate Zero and Hardy Boys, because I know I've collected those for majority of my life. However, we do have Breaking the Code. This is a memoir, and I think I thrifted this back in like 2016 or so, and it's just one that I've always kept on my shelf. Every time I've kind of unhauled, I just never wanted to just give it away. I always wanted to read it first. I don't know, something about the cover has always piqued my interest. I just never picked it up. So I thought, coming into 2026, because I also needed another book on my list, why not finally put this book on my list, finally tackle it, because it's been 10 plus years probably, honestly. I want to know what it's actually about, because it does say down here, it says A Father's Secret, A Daughter's Journey, and The Question That Changed Everything. So I don't know much about this book. I'm kind of going in blind, and I want to keep it like that. I haven't even really read the back of the book too much, maybe like when I first picked it up, when I first bought it, but over the years I've forgotten about this book, and it's just always been sitting on my shelf, but I've never tackled it. So now's the time, and I am so invested into this, even though I know nothing about it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense though. At number 9, I do have the Unbecoming Amara Dyer. I just picked this up I think a couple months ago, maybe about 6 months ago now, and it was only 25 cents at a St. Vincent here locally in Kentucky. And I have seen a few people talk about these books. More so it's always like it's on their physical TBR and they never tackle it, so I want to be the one to actually tackle it, because it is sitting on my physical TBR as well. And also I just want to know if I need to hop into the next one. I think this is a YA fantasy, maybe dystopian. I think it's more fantasy, and I also think it's a trilogy, or it's more of a duology with a couple books added into the series. But when I go into the store, there's not just the ones that Goodreads says is in the series. There's also another book that isn't in the series, but it looks just like this, like it has the same similar cover. So I want to know if I need to read that. And also I have no clue what actually this book is about. Oh, apparently it does say it's a romance, so I guess it's a YA fantasy with romance, or YA romance in a way. But the next book is called The Evolution Amara Dyer. I've just been so intrigued about this, and I have no clue what this book is about. And when I seen it at St. Vincent, it was one of those like, oh, it's 25 cents. Why not just throw it in the cart? Because I feel like I've seen it before, but I have no clue where I've seen it before. And then I realized it's because a few book YouTubers have this book, but it's sitting on their physical TBR. So now I'm more intrigued than ever. Why has it been sitting, and why should I maybe tackle it first? Or not necessarily first, just for me. Why should I just go ahead and tackle it and get it done and over with? For my 25 books I wanted to read in 2025, I did try and get, I want to say 2 different memoirs or autobiographies, and then I also had about 2 different older style books. If you don't know, I have a little collection of older style books. Some of them are around 100 years old, a couple of them are over 100 years old, and a lot of them are from like the 50s and 60s. And this year I want to put, I think it's just 1. Well, I guess technically it's 2 of my older books that I want to tackle because I'm going to keep them forever. I want all the books on my bookshelves read. I want to actually say I've accomplished all these. So I put one of these actually on, and it is fairly short. I think it's just over 200 pages. Oh my gosh, yes. It's like 220 pages. This is going to be one of the perfect books, I feel like, to tackle this year if I'm not enjoying it. It is called the Storrington Papers. I know nothing about this. I just know that this was once my neighbor's, and when she passed away, I got a lot of her books, and it's sat on my shelf for a few years, and I've never tackled it. But I'm slowly getting my way through all of those books, and like I said, it's fairly short. So I feel like this one is a very easy one to tackle, and when we get to it in the future, you can see my next one. Man, I tell you, I'm not having a good day. I'm losing lighting, my camera battery died, and now apparently my SD card was just full. So I don't know what all I was saying. I'm just gonna say I'm really excited about this to tackle one of my older books. Let's move on to the next book. Even though I'm not a very big romance reader, and especially I don't like anything open door, I'm a very big closed door Christian type person, so I do skip a lot of those scenes. If you know, you know. Coming in at number 11, we do have Things We Never Got Over. I thrifted these, I think not this one, but the second one when we were stationed out in Las Vegas, and you know, it was before I've read any of her books. I just knew they were popular on Book Talk. I wasn't necessarily really familiar with what was going to go on in her books, and I did enjoy Rock Bottom Girl. I did not enjoy Forever Never though. There were so many things I had to skip, and I just didn't like a lot of what went on just in general with that book. I'm gonna take a chance because this whole series, this whole trilogy has been sitting on my shelf for I think about 2 or 3 years now, so why not actually read it, see if I can get through each individual book, and also see if I kind of enjoy them. Obviously I think I'm gonna have to skip some parts, or if it's gonna be like Forever Never where I might need to get rid of them. I am tired of looking at these. Like, I want to just tackle them and or either get rid of them or just have a spot on my shelf for them. That is why it's on my 26 in 26, and I hope they are more like Rock Bottom Girl for me. I hope I enjoy the story more than anything, and then of course like the romance and stuff. I just hope it's not too bad, if you know what I mean. And then speaking about Christian, I do have Christian books sitting right here. Actually I have a couple Christian books on this list, but this is more of a Christian, I'm gonna say like self-help. I don't know what to really call these. Coming in at number 12, we do have It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. I just recently got this when my husband's grandmother passed away, and I'm really interested in it. It's just one of those classic, almost like not necessarily devotional, but where you read about a passage and then maybe you look something up in the Bible, kind of reference it, and I don't know what it's about. I'm just gonna go into it completely blind because I feel like it's more almost like letting God choose, because sometimes it's very relevant to things that are happening in your life, and I just feel like it's going to be really interesting to see if the passages or the things in this book pertain to my life, and if also I can learn a few things, because I know I can always learn a few things and try and be a better person. I'm not gonna lie. I have my own faults. Everybody has their own sins and faults and things that they do, and I definitely am very bad with some things. So I feel like it is time, because I'm kind of not necessarily fallen away. I just feel like I have some things I really need to work on. So why not try and get a book that might help me? And then of course like read the Bible and be more with God. You know what I mean? I just feel like this is a step in a good direction instead of just continuing on the path and ignoring or trying to say, oh, later I'll get to it. Later I'll get to it. No, let's sit down and let's do it now. This coming year. Let's do it in 2026. At number 13, I do have A Bend in the Road by Nicholas Sparks. I have 3 books left on my physical TBR from this author. I have about, I think in total 22 books from him, and only 3 of them that I have not read. So I did a random number generator between those 3, and it came up with this one being the one that I needed to pick up and read. So I'm so excited. It's been one of those that's been sitting on my shelf for many years now, and because of this cover looking like the other cover that I have, I never really gravitated towards it. It's just one that's sat on my shelf and I just kind of bypass it. I never look at it. I don't want to look at it. So this year I'm gonna make sure I tackle hopefully all 3 of these, but more so I'm gonna try and tackle them, because it would be nice to finally be done reading his books, unless if I want to go out and pick up a new one. Like if I'm in the mood for one of his books, which I haven't been for many years, let me actually be in the mood and mood read, not kind of forcing myself like I've been in a way, even though I've been enjoying them, don't get me wrong, not forcing myself to tackle them. Let me tackle them in my own time. We only have 3 left, and I'm very hopeful about this. I think this one will be a really good one, and it's also lesser known. I don't think I've heard anybody ever talk about it, and I also don't think there's a movie. Coming in at number 14, I do have Eragon. I did, I think, throw this on a couple TBRs this year, and I just never got got around to it. We got really busy, but I used to have a first print, a first edition that my sister had, and then she kind of marked all over it. But I found this one that is also a first print, first edition, and it has the bookmark still attached in the back. So why not? I have the second one just like this. However, I don't have the third one. I do have the third one, but it's in a bigger size, and it's not by this publisher. It's not like an original one, and I love the way that this one feels. So I'm gonna try and get the fourth one more so in this style, and then if we can ever find the third one as well. Here recently, I've just been finding the new ones, and I don't like how the new ones look at all, but I've been intrigued about this because one, the original, in my opinion, Dragon series, and I used to hear so many great things about this book in the early 2000s, and I just feel like it's one of those that for a while, maybe about a decade, just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Many people might have talked about it, but they weren't sure what the name was, and then randomly we were getting new covers for these a couple of years ago, and then this whole series popped back up. I think around when Fourth Wing first came out, this series became well known again, so I'm very intrigued about it, and I want to hop into it and see what I think. At number 15, which might be read closer to summer, I do have a summer, I think, romance book in a way. It is called Every Summer After. I did thrift this, and I didn't get to it this year, so I'm just gonna throw it on 2026's TBR. I've heard some great things about Carly Fortune's books. I think she has like 3 or 4 out by now. There's a lot, but I don't think they're in a series. I think they're all just standalones, and she makes all of her covers look like this, so they match so perfectly on a shelf. When this book first came out, I feel like everybody was reading it here on BookTube, and I'm just kind of invested. I want to know if I might enjoy summer romances more. I know I didn't really like beach read that much, but I feel like maybe there's some good opportunities in other people's books. So let me pick this up since I thrifted it for I think like $1.99. Let me see if I absolutely enjoy this, and maybe I'll read the rest of her books. At number 16, we have a series that my mom actually got me for technically Christmas, I think, but she ended up buying this one closer to the new year because she accidentally bought the second book in the series, not realizing it was book number 2, which I'm totally fine with because she got me 2 books instead of just one. She didn't even have to give me this first book, but she went ahead and bought me Powerless to make up for the fact that she bought me the second book in the series. So I do want to tackle this because I've heard so much hype about it. I'm sure you guys have probably even read it, and I think this is a completed series now, and there's 2 or 3 novellas. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm very invested, and I love the cover, and I love the inside. I love the little bit of artwork, detail, whatever you want to say for each chapter, and I love fantasy. I feel like this is so up my alley that I'm just gonna absolutely enjoy this. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this was, if not her first, one of her first books that she ever wrote, or it was the one that was all over Book Talk, and she was writing it maybe during COVID, getting chapter by chapter, almost like Wattpad style. Eventually she went out and published it. It might have been that book, I don't know. I've heard really great things about this, so I am very invested, and I just kind of want a really good fantasy series. I've been on the lookout for more fantasy books. At number 17, we have good old Freya McFadden. This is the Tennant. I did pick this up just a couple months ago, and I read the other book that I had from her. I did not know that I picked this up. It was published in 2025, and I picked it up in 2025. That was perfect for me. I've heard a couple people rate this book. They absolutely loved it. I feel like all of her books are very bingeable, very easy. Maybe not like if you judge or if you critique writing based on how like the formats of writing should probably be. Maybe she's not the best author. However, I enjoy her books. I feel like they're all like palate cleansers in a way, just something I can binge and enjoy reading, and it's gonna be like 4, maybe 4.5 stars no matter what. And I love this cover. I want to know what this is about. I want to go into this. I want to get that where I'm still guessing the ending, but I'm so invested that it doesn't even matter if I spoil the ending for myself. I'm still gonna rate it like 4 stars. I want that feeling that hopefully this book will give me, because every other book I've read from her has given me that same feeling. At number 18, we have a very exciting book in my opinion. This is a start to a trilogy, and I just ordered the next 2 books off of Thrift Books, and they will be here any day now. I did find this, I don't know how much, I think it was like 50 cents at a St. Vincent, and when I tell you I seen this book and I love the cover, I love the cover so much, and then I looked it up and I seen it's more of like a historical Western fiction, but it's also Christian fiction, so you already know because I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to get more into Christian. With that being said, this is Frontier Lady. Never heard of this author. I love this cover. It is so beautiful. I am so excited to get into this, especially since I just bought it, I think like 2 weeks ago. I have that feeling inside of me where I'm just so invested. Every time I look at my shelf, I just want to gravitate towards it. I want to pull it out. I want to open it up and read about it. And I have been trying to look at different Christian books, but a lot of them are kind of like the Amish ones, and I love these ones that are more like historical with Christian values put into them, or like Calling Cobbles where they're mystery with Christian values. And I felt like this one would be super amazing because this is, I think, around the Civil War. I don't know, the cover is giving me that. And if I enjoy this series, then I can actually go through maybe some of her backlist or get other books that are recommended based off of this book and go into those series and have more Christian books. And I just want to fill my shelves with Christian reads and other books. Don't get me wrong, I want other books, but I just feel so happy, so at peace in a way when I read those types of books. But then these, I just enjoy the story so much more, I feel like. So I'm so excited about this. Something about the cover is just making me so happy, so excited. At number 19, we have maybe my most exciting read, but also one that I'm gonna be sad about when I finish, because I know it's gonna leave me on a cliffhanger. I know I'm gonna have to wait maybe another whole year until the next book comes out, but it's gonna look so good on my completed shelf. It's gonna look so good with the other two in the series. I have Onyx Storm. I know you guys have probably all seen this everywhere. I know you guys have probably all read this book. However, I have not, and I have missed every single spoiler I've ever seen on the internet. I've skipped every single one somehow. I just finished Iron Flame, I think about like 4 months ago. It wasn't too long ago. And I wanted to immediately hop into this book, and I have held off. I have been kind of biding my time just a little bit, but this is the perfect book for 2026 because I know I'm going to read it. I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to be sad, full of emotions. Say what you say about the series. I don't even care. Everybody to each their own type deal. I don't care if her writing's not like the best, the most critically acclaimed. I don't care. The way that I get while I read these stories, and it's not about the romance. It's about this story. Like Iron Flame, the story in Iron Flame was so good to me. The war in Iron Flame, the military side of Iron Flame, I loved so much more than Fourth Wing. That was so much better. So I'm hoping that this book is even better than Iron Flame, because so far we went from 5 stars to basically 6 stars. So if we can keep on that 5-star feeling, I'm gonna ride it out, and we're gonna have a potentially 5-star series. Also, I love this cover. I love the black with the silver. I just think it's so pretty, and I feel like I'm gonna have not necessarily my heart broken, but just so many questions answered and so many almost emotions running through me. I can't wait to read it. At number 20, I do have The Wicked King. I just read The Cruel Prince for the first time, and I wasn't necessarily in love with it. I didn't hate it. I rated it down the middle, 3 stars. I love the ending so much more. I felt like it picked up and it got really interesting, but then the book ended. And when I posted about it on Fable, many people had said that more so the first book is like an introduction to the world, and the second and the third book is their favorite. There's so much more to that world, to the book, but more so at the end of book 1, that's how the rest of the series goes. It gets more intense, and so many of your questions gets answered. So I do want to put this on the list because like I said, I just read that book not too long ago. I want to continue the series, try and finish the series. Why not see if I'm gonna love this book? Hopefully I will. Hopefully I won't be that small percentage that doesn't like this whole series, and hopefully then I can go into, I think it's like The Queen of Nothing, whatever the third book is. I'm kind of excited about this, which is good because I didn't like the first book that much. It's not that I didn't like it, I just didn't feel a certain way towards that book. So I'm glad that I have a little bit of excitement going into this book. At number 21, I do have the Atlas 6. For my birthday, I ordered this book. I think this was the only book from Thrift Books, and it was because for my birthday we went to Half Price Books and we went shopping, and I found the second book, The Atlas Paradox, for $2 in their clearance section, and my husband said, just get it, go ahead, throw it in, and then you can order this book off of Amazon or wherever you want to go. Just go pick it up, because they didn't have this book in Half Price Books. I did do that. I went to Thrift Books, and then I spent my birthday free book, and I got a free book, and then I got this as well, and I am so excited about this. I've heard so many great things about Olive E. Blake, but I have never read a single thing from her, so this will be my first, and I think this is like a 2019 through 2021. Everybody had this book hyped up, this whole series. I think they had different covers, but I am so excited about this, and I know nothing about it. I don't know if it's sci-fi, I don't know if it's gothic fantasy, I think it's what they call it. I am just here for the vibes and here to see if I absolutely love this, and to see if I like Olive E. Blake's writing, because I hear she has amazing stories, not just in this series or this duology. Plus, it's a duology. Why not? At number 22, I do have an Ember in the Ashes, and I do have Air also from her, but I heard somewhere that apparently that's kind of part of this world that is a duology, but I think only the first book is out, not the second book. So I was thinking, why not I actually read this book, go into the series, finish the series, and then maybe hop into Air, or at least read the first book, and maybe I won't necessarily spoil anything. I don't think they're connected, but if the world is too similar, maybe I'll spoil a few things. So I do want to hop into this also because I've had this a little bit longer, so I'd rather tackle this sooner than wait and tackle this after I tackle something I just bought. And I love these covers. I like these covers the most. I don't like they might be the new ones, but the other ones that you see people always hold up, I don't like them. I don't mind the people, and I love the size of them and how floppy in a way they are, and I feel like I need to go out and find the rest of the series in this cover if I really love this book, and then that way they all match, and I don't potentially have to search the internet and the world for many months to come to find something that I really liked, and also that match on my shelf. All right, we only have 4 books left, and this is another author that is on this list twice, and I'm so sorry about that. I've kind of already talked about her a little bit, but it is Colleen Colleen Cobble. At number 23, we do have Alaska Twilight. I just picked this book up, I think at my library. Yeah, I bought it at my library for about 50 cents for their paperbacks. She's a mystery romance author, or at least she writes a lot of mystery with subplot of romance, but she's Christian. Love that aspect of it. I don't know what this book is about. I think it's still following that mystery. I don't know if it's got the subplot of romance in it, but I'm sure it still has the subplot of God or just concepts with God in here, and I love all of her books. I've read probably 5 or so of her books, and I just love them all, and I have so many books from her still that I need to read, need to tackle, need to finish a couple series. And then this is a standalone, so I wanted to put this on here just so I had a standalone on here, but also because I'm very intrigued, because I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to spoil anything, because I feel like if you read the back, you're gonna get everything that you know of. I'm a very much going blind into books, and I'm sorry if that's annoying, because I'm sure you guys want to know. But if you don't want to know, and you're like me, then this is perfect, because I don't necessarily give you too much information. I love this cover, so I'm excited about this one, and because it's Colleen Cobble. For number 24, I do have an Agatha Christie book. This is a 5 novels in one. This is my second book that is going to be like my older style book. We actually are going to just go straight down this list because I think I've read N or M, and maybe that's it from just this collection. So I've read a few books from here, and I want to actually tackle the murder at the, I don't think it's Vicarage. I just want to start right off the bat. I love Agatha Christie for the most part. All the books that I have read from her I really have enjoyed, but I also use a lot of audiobooks sometimes with her, or at least I did because I was working nights, and when I was working on Sundays at a certain location, we could listen to music because we weren't around the plains. And this one, I feel like if we just start right off the bat and we just continue down, I think it's only like 100 or so pages, but I feel like it would be good because I'm still tackling an older book. I'm still tackling a physical book on my shelf. I'm completing more and more of this specific book, so that is good. That is really great. At number 25, I do have a continuing of a series, and this is The Rose Society by Marie Lu. She just had a new book pop out. I don't remember what it's called. It's like the red something, and it's going all over the place for book of the month right now. This is book number 2. It comes after The Young Elites. I read The Young Elites because I thrifted it at that St. Vincent for 25 cents with Amara Dyer, and I read it and I loved it. I loved it so much more than the Legend, Prodigy, and Champion series, and I think Rebel was added onto that. I never read the Rebel, but this book in particular is book number 2, and the way that book number 1 ended, I was so invested, so I'm so excited to hop into this. I think I might need a little refresher of book number 1 because I forgot a lot about it. I think I read it towards the beginning of this year. I have to go back in, see what the last book left off like, and then go into this book, and I think I'm gonna enjoy it. This series so far has been so interesting, and I really like the characters, the magical system in a way, and just some of the things that was happening in the first book. I'm excited, and I also have the third book, which is called The Midnight Star. It's sitting down on my shelf, so if I love this, I can go straight into that and complete the whole series. And finally, at number 26, we have another Colleen Cobble book. This is The Lightkeeper's Ball, and this is the final book in the Mercy Falls trilogy. I love the Mercy Falls trilogy. I love the time period. I love the little comments about God. I love the relationships that turn into romance type relationships. Each book to me is just so interesting. Such a good read, and I'm so excited to finish off the series. I love these covers. I'm so excited to have all the spines together. Just to have my second completed series sitting on a shelf with her. I do have a couple other series that I need to finish by her, or actually one other series, and then I just have standalones. So I am so excited to get through with this book. And I don't know the concept of this book, but the last 2 books, they're interconnected standalones. So each book in the series is its own book, and you're following characters, but when you go into the next book, you do have little glimpses of the characters from the previous book, and I just love that. I love each character so much. I think honestly the first book in the series is probably still my favorite. No, I don't know. The last book was really good too. I think just so far this is going to be like a 4.5 star series. I love this so much, and I really hope that the third book, the final book, will be just like the first 2, and I just love it completely. And there you have it. There is all the books that I want to complete in the year 2026, my 26 in 2026. I hope you guys all enjoyed this list, and I also hope you maybe got some good recommendations to pick up, or any books that you might be a little bit excited about, maybe you can read in the future. If you have any comments about any single book, let me know down in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in another video here on my channel, and as always, God bless.